Sir, we are live.
Thank you, Harish. Thank you, Harish. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, students, and faculties from across the nation, from various schools and institutions attending this wonderful webinar. Myself, Deepak Chabra, member, ASSOCHAM National Council on Education. I would like to welcome all of you to this webinar organized by ASSOCHAM National Council on Education and Careerware Information Center Private Limited on reimagining education post-COVID-19, need to democratize education. Thank you all the panelists to join. I would like to welcome our eminent speaker for the day, starting with Dr. Biswajit Sahaji, Director, Training and Skill Education, Central Board for Secondary Education. Welcome, sir. Dr. Neeti Chitkara ji, Director, Schools, Chitkara International Schools, Panchkula and Chandigarh. Welcome, ma'am. Dr. Shauli Mukherjee, Director, Schools of Education and Dean, Student Affairs, Adamas University, Kolkata, and Global Thought Leader and Inspiration Speaker. Welcome, ma'am. Mr. Rakesh Yadav ji, Co-founder, Careerville Information Center Private Limited. Welcome, Yadav ji.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Rajan Gautam ji, Director, Bhagwan Mahavir International School, Surat. Welcome, Dr. Gautam ji. As well as Dr. Satyendra Tiwari ji, Vice President, Careerware Information Center Private Limited. Welcome, sir. To this session, we have Ms. Nupur Gaba. She is the moderator of this session. So I will not take so much of time and would request Nupur Gaba to kindly start the session. Nupur, please.
Thank you, sir. Welcome, everybody. On behalf of Careerville and ASSOCHAM National Council for Education, I, Nupur Gaba, will be moderating this session today, titled Reimagining Education Post-COVID-19, Need to Democratize Education, and I welcome all the learned and experienced panel members. Vision of Careerville is to make education affordable and accessible to each and every child of India and empower them with skills to make them future ready. The pandemic has taught us what we now know for certain is that nothing about the future is certain. Therefore, aligned with this vision, we are organizing a series of webinars on this platform to understand various concepts related to reimagining the future of school education. In low-income groups, children are expected to pitch in with household chores and sometimes even earn to supplement the family income. Careerville's aim is to democratize ethics solutions so that every student is able to access same quality of education irrespective of the income group he or she belongs to. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our guest speaker today, Ms. Dr. Biswajit Saha. Dr. Biswajit Saha is the Director, Trainings and Skill Education, CBSE. He manages the work of skill curriculum design, development of student resource books and training manuals, and monitors the execution of various teachers' training programs by 16 CBSE Center of Excellencies. Dr. Saha also represents CBSE in various national and international committees. Prior to joining CBSE, Dr. Saha was faculty member and head of department CSE at Government Engineering College, Agartala. Served as OSD, Technical Education, Government of Tripura, and worked with Tripura Central University and NIC, Government of India in various capacities. Dr. Saha handled execution of various development projects of World Bank, AICTE, UGC, and METI. I hand over the stage to you, sir.
Thank you, Nupur. Good morning to one and all present here, all eminent panelists, and of course, the organizer, SOCAM, and others who have joined us today in this specific event on technology integrations, career, and kind of reimagining educations. Because every day, I think new things are happening, and we are supposed to look into the perspective of how we can really able to provide educations to the student at last point. Now, despite of all these pandemic issue, one way and other way, that new education policy, and of course, the independent thinking of the child, how we can encourage, considering this all this ball game, what is happening at this point of time. So, and in fact, let me welcome all the participants who have joined us through virtual mode. And this is a kind of normal happening. And sometimes it is too much, and sometimes whether it is really addressing the basic issues or not, that things is a major concern for all of us. So as organizing committee has asked me to deliver a speech on the technology aspects, or a kind of what way hybridizations of education model we can think of at this point of time. So they are strategically every academic organizations who are involved in the school sector or higher educations. I think initial few months they might have struggled, but not all organizations. Majority of organizations have struggled, but now it is a normal affairs through which our teachers are very much acquainted with the systems of education's delivery through the online mode. So the opportunity of this specific agenda has been really encouraged by all our educationist community. Now, concern is whether, despite of practicing this kind of delivery mechanisms for last 2 years, are we able to achieve the concern of the children, concern of the parents? I think those impact factor need to be analyzed by use of technology. So maybe we aim to support and enable the education sector, especially in India, and our segment is limited as hardly 25,000 schools. Although we are catering a huge chunk of young community, but even then, so developing a kind of strategy, rubrics for online systems of education's delivery, and with the help of this Government of India's Pragata guidelines, I think so many things are very much well thought of and discussed. But again, I'm sure that many of our schools have not looked into this perspective. So, okay, we are supposed to deliver the educations to the in a technology inclusive way, but somewhere the gap remains. And today I'm just trying to highlight those gap in terms of pedagogy, and in terms of a real-time engagement of teacher and student and parent. Because these three stakeholders, until they're connected together, I think the journey is incomplete. So what I am observing, rather we from the board or many of the educationist parents are also are commented upon it, because this is a kind of day-to-day affair through which we are trying to connect with the community. We sometimes speak with the principal, sometimes with the teacher, sometimes with the student, and even we try to connect through student to the parent. And the feedback is many of our schools, I am concerned about our CBSE family, although there were more than 70% of the schools are performing enormously well. But even within that 70% also, some leading schools teachers are not switching on their camera. I'm placing on record because these things are validated by some, not only by the feedback, also real-time scenario of screen capturing. This kind of feedback we are receiving. So one way, always, if it is an audio mode of classroom interactions, then simply put that recorded podcast to the student, or by other medium of community radio centers can be established by every school. Then what is the purpose of bringing them in a specific classroom schedule and also retaining them for a long hour and simply for audio podcasting. So this is one gap which has been observed by us. The second one is that participations from the side of the student. So technology inclusion, it is all right. It is perfectly fine in terms of delivery mechanism. The second gap is, okay, the classroom has been transacted, but what next? How much time we are keeping for interactions? So that uniform model may not be a solution, but that retention level, usually whether it is online, offline, or in a real-time mode, it's not more than 10 minutes. So 10 minutes, whatever you are discussing, and asking the student to write down and thereafter on the same day, even if it is in the afternoon, do certain level of assessment. People, educationist community may cross questions, counter me in terms of it would be a stress. No, we are supposed to assess what kind of learning happened in a particular day. Again, it can be equated with the retention. So world over, whether it is America, UK, or some other country, so these parallel research are going on by the university researcher or even the school teacher, both primary, at secondary and senior secondary level. Now, I will urge the education community here. I think this kind of pedagogy, whether it is phygital, digital, whatever you call, impact evaluations is very much necessary at this point of time to retain the future hybrid model. Otherwise, it is a kind of one-time measure taken due to the pandemics and later on discarding and coming back to the total physical mode. No, I think we need to keep this hybrid model, and then to retain that powerful mechanisms of impact analysis is very much crucial at this point of time. And I think you all can take it forward. And the third component is multiple case studies you need to come up with. And those case-led, the rural, affordable school, elite schools, so all category, because the different socioeconomic strata are coming. So some household may have multiple tablets and all high quality tablets, which are not giving any kind of disturbance. But there are households which are not able to afford. And in that line, what could be the community approach of sustenance and community approach of technology inclusion? Every school must think in that line. So basic good uses of technology, we can, over a period of time, we can address, and we can recognize the teachers, education leader, and often face the range of kind of barriers, especially capitalizing on this opportunity use case for the technology. So our theme is how we can change the pattern of assessment also in using technology. Believe me, I'm coming out of the track. I'll take another 1 or 2 minutes. That due to these assessment and examinations, ultimately the learning is directed towards that. So whatever students are learning, they have to prove in the examination. That motive is crucial in the decision-making process or problem-solving capability of the student. So everywhere we are trying to undermine their capability, and we equate them with respect to the assessment. And whether it is school-led or board-led, parents has taken this is as an agenda. What you have scored and what the neighborhood children had scored. I think somewhere we have to break that kind of monotony in the system, and especially to create a positive mindset where the 21st century skills boldness से नहीं आएगा. I think we have to have a strong bridge between the household and the school. Now, in one forum, I just try to share that every household now becomes a school, because that digital transmission, whatever school is doing, it is directly reaching to the household. So individual schools which are being managed by the parents at home, I think largely they can contribute in the holistic growth of the education systems in the country, because now they are aware of what way schools are happening. Otherwise, simple visualizations of their individual memory, what way they participated in the school systems. But that modern day schools happening, university classroom interactions, case-led approach and oral assessment, online assessment, every individual's component are being internalized by many of our parents. Now, can we bring them in the movement of education delivery? So I also observed some school are, suppose now compartmental examinations are going on physically. So due to that, what happened that some teachers are on duty, so they are not taking the classes. And maybe some schools are also enthusiastic. They are organizing those specific classes in the afternoon or in the evening. It's a very good thing. But can we bring some influential parents, influentially I want to mean educated parents, who want to be volunteers to manage these kind of gap-related areas and take a special class, and again using the technology. I think that leveraging this kind of momentum, if one school start this moment, I think the other will follow. The last component I want to touch upon with respect to, again, technology inclusion is the many schools or colleges are training this kind of B.Ed or M.Ed. So those who are aspiring or BPL, this kind of courses are ongoing. Now, due to this corona and all, those students are not getting opportunity to teach in the real-time classroom. Now, can we open the door? Okay, from Delhi, some educational institute from Chennai, some students wants to take or observe the actual classroom happening. I think we must open that door and encourage the use of technology. So with this few thought or gap, whatever, don't take it otherwise. This is real-time feedbacks we are getting from the side of the parents, from the side of the school, from the side of the management, and some of the active members are very much also there in the as a panelist. So I think floor is open now, and you all will definitely enlighten all of us with your thought process how this reimagining would be more a successful journey which we can retain and continue with. Thank you very much for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to speak in the forum.
Thank you, Dr. Saha, for your enlightening and valuable words on the right way to rethink and restructure our education system. Your advice to implement the impact evolution, not only focusing after the pandemic to make children future ready, shows the importance of hybrid learning environments. The point on multiple case study to all communities is also extremely enlightening and awakening for all of us. So now I would request Mr. Rakesh to proceed with the question.
Sir, good morning.
Rakesh, sir.
Sir,
Good
good morning. Sir, do you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
Rakesh
sir.
ji.
Thank you, sir. सर मैं आपसे एक सवाल पूछना चाह रहा था यहाँ पर कि आप चीज़ों को इतने डिटेल में असेसमेंट कर रहे हैं चीज़ों का, तो इस पेंडेमिक टाइम पे क्या आपको कुछ ऐसा महसूस हुआ कि बच्चों के जो सब्जेक्टिव इंटरेस्ट है उसमें कोई चेंज आया हो? जैसे मैंने थोड़ा सा महसूस किया कि साइंस की तरफ बच्चों का जो अ, झुकाव है वो थोड़ा सा बढ़ा है इस पेंडेमिक सिचुएशन के बाद। तो मैं इस चीज को लेके अपनी चीज रखना चाह रहा था, तो उससे पहले मैं आपका असेसमेंट जानना चाह रहा था कि आप इस चीज को लेके किस तरह से आगे बढ़ रहे हैं।
You are perfectly right. ये साइंस का तरफ लोगों का झुकी और थिंकिंग प्रोसेस that we may call it inclinations towards science learning or technology enhancement or technology use case. All those things are grossly observed worldwide. And in fact, if you look into the OECD report, or even a case study, I think Mickens he has already come out with, that international participations in research and vis-a-vis that investment metrics is gradually increasing, and approximately I think they are projecting in last 2 years there is a 6% enhancement. So similarly, every household, because this is one area which you all agree with me, that is due to this vaccination drive and huge campaigning. I think some way every household is thinking about that science and its future, and it is a routine discussions in the household, and naturally and with unknowingly the student community is actually gradually thinking towards some kind of engagement or involvement in science. It's a natural query which every individual, in at least in India and earth, we possess this. But this inquiry approach, again I am telling, because of that high load of examination and assessment, we suppress their creativity, and we also try to suppress their query even in the online mode. So my submission is, I completely agree with you, there is a positive inclinations towards science educations or science promotion, and that's why we are trying to promote STEM as a STEAM. At the same time, NEP talks about that multidisciplinary approach, so that how we can integrate art and music in science education's delivery in the theater mode, or even even in as a role play. So all those things are happening, and I think more and more progressive thought we can bring to enhance the scientific temperament in the classroom, scientific temperament in household discussions. So that will positively bring a lot of changes in the environment and in the ecosystems. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Saha. I believe this inclination towards a positive, approach to the science subjects is really something that everybody on our panel should be giving value to today. And thank you, Rakesh sir, for such a valuable question. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Shauli Mukherjee, ma'am, Director, School of Education and Dean, Students Affairs, Adamus University, Kolkata, global thought leader and inspirational speaker, to kindly share her views on the topic Reimagining Education for 21st Century Learners. With a purposeful career in the education space spanning over more than 20 years, Dr. Shauli Mukherjee has dedicated her life towards promotion of child-centric and activity-oriented education. A passionate educationist and a thought leader with a background of setting up and leading new age K-12 schools, Dr. Mukherjee had been the founder principal of Adamus World School and STEM World School, the first STEM school in West Bengal. Under her inspiring leadership, STEM World School has been ranked and awarded as the second international day school in West Bengal by Education World. Dr. Mukherjee ardently believes that the purpose of meaningful education is to develop lifelong learners, creative thinkers, and responsible global citizens who are confidently equipped to face the challenges of an uncertain and constantly unfolding future. All through her career in education, Dr. Mukherjee had actively contributed to and spearheaded the process of creating a personalized, engaging, and stress-free curriculum for children of all age groups. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, a very good afternoon to all of you, and thank you so much, Nupur, for that wonderful introduction of yours.
Most welcome.
It is indeed a great privilege for me to be speaking on this platform today. Right at the very outset, I would like to thank ASSOCHAM as well as Career-Will to extend this invite to me to speak on this platform today and sharing my views and insights on reimagining education post-COVID-19. Such a very pertinent topic, especially when I believe that whether it's COVID-19 or not, there is in fact an urgent need for reimagining our current education system for the 21st century learners. So we all agree to the fact that the 21st century world, the world that we live in, is actually a VUCA world. And that is, it is a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world where we are faced with unique and unheard of challenges almost on a regular basis. Now, since the turn of the century, the chaotic, turbulent, and rapidly changing environments in which we live have actually become the new normal for all of us. Exploding technological developments, dramatic demographic growth, immigration, ecological disasters, and geographical trends. They have actually disrupted our lives at an ever-increasing pace and breadth. Now, these circumstances, definitely accelerated by the global pandemic, have caused a major breakdown of order in almost all organizations. And that definitely includes education as well as higher education. As the four VUCA components of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, they interact with each other. And, they sometimes not only interact, but they sometimes also collide in chaotic and sometimes in conflicting manner and ways. Now, in the last 1.5 years, since the entire world has been embroiled in the global pandemic, there has been considerable debates and discussions about how education should both cope with its immediate threat and at the same time considering pivots towards new models and innovations for the future. So actually, thanks to the COVID times, which had enabled all of us to think and act outside the box and to embrace a lot of innovative and creative strategies and methods to significantly address the emerging complexities concerning the sphere of education. Now, we would definitely, as educationists, we would all agree to the fact that the traditional and the conservative model of education force our young learners to metaphorically draw and color within the lines. That is to comply, to conform, and to compete, where every single learner is given the same amount of time to learn the same thing in the same way and preferably on the same day. So no wonder that our young learners and the children, they struggle so hard in realizing their true potential. I think the time has come when we have to understand that the real world, which is beyond the confines of the fancy physical infrastructure of an educational institute, actually rewards those amply who can think out of the box and can carve their own path. And in order to sustain and thrive in this 21st century, ever increasingly complex workforce, the learners have to be more oriented towards collaboration and cooperation rather than cutthroat competition. In order to address and challenge the emerging global complexities, We do not need mechanically trained minds. You know, COVID has proved that the world doesn't require mechanically trained minds, minds which are loaded with facts and figures, minds which are systematically formulated to think alike. No, that is not what the world requires. Rather, the world requires creative and innovative minds, minds which are capable of divergent thinking, minds which are capable of out-of-the-box ideation. So that is exactly what the world requires. So in keeping with that, a truly reimagined education system would definitely have significant focus on developing the essential 21st century skill sets among the young learners, which definitely includes critical thinking, effective communication, creativity, meaningful collaboration, analytical thinking, complex problem solving, fast and effective decision making, and at the same time nurturing one's emotional intelligence and also giving due importance to the other important kind of quotients rather than only highlighting on one kind of quotient, which is intelligence quotient. Now, when I say other kinds of quotients, I specifically mean the EQ, that is emotional quotient, the CQ, creativity quotient, the PQ, passion quotient, the HQ, happiness quotient, the SQ, the spiritual as well as the social quotient, and most importantly, the AQ, that is adversity quotient. That is how to deal with the vagaries of life, how to deal with the uncertainties of existence. So our present education system needs to, create and hone these kind of quotients among our young learners. Also, I think that we must allow the young learners more time which they can effectively utilize in following their curiosity, in creating, sharing, exploring, and experimenting with their novel and unique ideas. As educators and as parents, we have to stop stigmatizing failures and mistakes. And we have to realize and appreciate the fact that both mistakes and failures are in fact essential components of an effective learning experience. If we truly want our present generation to evolve into creative problem solvers, we must give them ample scope to explore the three essential P's, and that is play, passion, and purpose. We have to understand that it is only a potent combination of play, passion, and purpose that actually make a person truly creative. And we must allow these young creative minds to not only seek innovative solutions to the problems, but also to spot inherent problems in the existing solutions. Additionally, I also believe that the young learners should have complete responsibility and ownership of their own learning. And in order to make that happen, they must have both choice as well as voice to determine and express what, where, and how they would want to learn. Now, who's going to make all these things happen? We speak of reimagining education system. So who's going to make all these things happen? So we have to understand that in order to nurture such creative minds of our young learners, the education leaders, the educators, the education policymakers, in fact, the entire educational fraternity must come together in order to redefine and reimagine their roles in driving this momentous shift towards empowering individual learners by maximizing their learning potential to ultimately evolve into self-motivated and lifelong learners, which would ultimately help enable our young learners to evolve into a more confident, more equipped, more dynamic, and above all, more authentic version of themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Shawli ma'am. Your years of research, your depth of understanding of the education system, and your ability to present the subject in such an interesting way produced one of the most insightful remarks, especially on the themes play, passion, and purpose to make students more creative. Uh, Now, I would like to invite Mr. Rakesh Yadav, co-founder Careerville, to speak on the importance of hybrid learning. Uh, Rakesh sir is one of the most renowned faculties of mathematics. His work in the field of government recruitment exam preparation segment has created a revolution in the way students prepare for exams. Rakesh Yadav sir is setting a new standard for how to clear exams and improve math skills with his free of cost initiatives like Rakesh Yadav Reader Publications, a YouTube channel having more than 3 million subscribers from the remotest of villages in India. His commitment to provide online education to students living in rural areas is changing the way students prepare at their homes who have very limited access to resources. As the co-founder at Careerville, his vision is to empower children from the grassroots level of the nation and provide them the skills and knowledge of 21st century. After all, quality education is every child's right. Over to you, Rakesh sir.
थैंक यू मैम। आप सभी को नमस्कार। मैं हिंदी में ही अपनी बात रखना चाहूँगा, अगर आप प्रॉपर समझ पाए मेरी बात को। तो मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा एकेडमिक का एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है कि मैं बच्चों की एग्जैक्ट मेंटलिटी को समझ पाऊँ अभी करंट में, लेकिन मैं यहाँ पे बस छोटे से एक इश्यू को रेज करना चाहता हूँ कि ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन और ऑफलाइन एजुकेशन दोनों एक दूसरे की कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री हैं। दोनों को ही एक साथ लेके चलना होगा। जिस हिसाब से, जिस तरीके से टेक्नोलॉजी डेवलप होने लग रही है, नई नई टेक्नोलॉजी आ रही है, जिस हिसाब से टाइम चेंज हो रहा है, बेसिकली जो ये कोरोना पीरियड हुआ, कोविड पीरियड हुआ, इसने टाइम को लगभग 10 साल घटा दिया है। जो चीज इंडिया में 2030 में आने वाली थी, वही चीजें 2020 में आ चुकी हैं चीजें। जो एजुकेशन मॉडरेशन हमें 10 साल बाद अपनानी थी, वो इस वजह से हमें अभी अपनानी होगी। मैं इस बात को कुछ तर्कों के साथ जोड़ना चाहता हूं। जैसा मैम ने भी कहा कि आज के समय में वर्ल्ड को नीड है क्रिएटिव माइंड की। तो क्रिएटिव माइंड कैसे तैयार होता है? क्रिएटिव माइंड तैयार होता है बच्चे के पार्टिसिपेशन से। हर एक बच्चा क्रिएटिव होता है। हमें उसकी क्रिएटिविटी पहचाननी पड़ती है और फिर उसकी क्रिएटिविटी को तैयार करना पड़ता है, उसको नरिश करना पड़ता है, तब जाके एक बच्चे का माइंड पूरी तरीके से उस एक स्पेसिफिक फील्ड में क्रिएटिव हो पाता है। अब समस्या कहाँ आती है? मैं गवर्नमेंट स्कूल से ही पढ़ा हुआ हूं, तो मैं अपने एक्सपीरियंस के अकॉर्डिंग मैं आप लोगों को बता रहा हूं। बेसिक रीजन क्या होता है एक टीचर के पास, जैसे मेरा सब्जेक्ट मैथ है तो मैं उसी को लेके समझाता हूँ कि बेसिक रीजन एक टीचर के पास क्या होता है चीजों को उतना अच्छे तरीके से ना बता पाने के पीछे, कि एक तो हमारे पास जो एजुकेशन सिस्टम है उसमें जो टाइमिंग गैप है। जैसे हम एक पीरियड 40 मिनट का लेके चलते थे जब हम पढ़ते थे उस समय पे, और 40 मिनट में बड़ा मुश्किल होता था किसी चीज को स्टार्ट करना और फिर उसको कंसाइज करके पूरी तरीके से समझा देना। दूसरी मैथ जैसी स्पेसिफिक फील्ड में तो एक समस्या और भी आती थी कि अगर बच्चा 10th क्लास में है तो टीचर ये उम्मीद करके चलता था कि बच्चे को 6 से लेकर 9 तक की बहुत सारी चीजें आती हैं और उस चीज के वो बैकग्राउंड में अपने आप को तैयार करके फिर वो 10th क्लास पढ़ाना स्टार्ट करता था। जबकि एक्चुअल ये है कि बच्चों को उस समय आती भी थी, लेकिन इस समय वो उन चीजों को भूल भी चुके होते हैं। तो उस समय जब वो पढ़ रहे होते हैं बच्चे, तो उनको बहुत सारी चीजें उतने अच्छे तरीके से समझ नहीं आती, और उस समझ ना आने की वजह से वो बहुत अच्छे से पार्टिसिपेट नहीं कर पाते। और जब तक बच्चा इस एजुकेशन सिस्टम में, इस एजुकेशन टेक्नोलॉजी में, या जो ये क्लास वर्क होता है इसमें पूरी तरीके से पार्टिसिपेशन नहीं लेगा, तब तक वो क्रिएटिव नहीं हो पाएगा। और जब तक बच्चा क्रिएटिविटी नहीं शो करेगा, हम उसका एक रियल वे में असेसमेंट कभी कर भी नहीं सकते। हम एक उसका दूसरे वे में असेसमेंट कर रहे होते हैं जिसके लिए वो बच्चा खुद भी तैयार नहीं हो रहा होता। ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन इस मामले में हमारी हेल्प ये कर सकती है। हम एक 40 मिनट्स के पीरियड में पॉसिबल नहीं है कि हम बच्चे के पूरे पीछे जितना भी उसने पढ़ा है उन सारी चीजों की तैयारी करा पाए और उसके असेसमेंट को हम चेक कर पाए कि वो पीछे की क्लासों में कितना कितना पढ़ के आया हुआ है। ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन के थ्रू हम इन चीजों को फुलफिल कर सकते हैं। कैसे, मैं आपको छोटी सी बात के थ्रू समझाना चाहता हूँ। जैसे ऑनलाइन जब हम टीचिंग प्रोवाइड करते हैं तो वहां पे हम छोटे छोटे क्वेश्चन सेगमेंट तैयार करते हैं। छोटे छोटे क्वेश्चन सेगमेंट होते हैं, वो मोस्टली इस तरीके से तैयार किए जाते हैं कि 1 वर्ड 2 वर्ड 3 वर्ड, लगभग इतने वर्ड में उसका आंसर बच्चा देता है। और कोशिश ये की जाती है कि स्टार्टिंग उन क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन की ऐसी रखी जाती है कि बच्चा पार्टिसिपेट करे। इतने इजी क्वेश्चन उठाए जाते हैं कि बच्चा उनके साथ धीरे धीरे जुड़ना स्टार्ट करे, धीरे धीरे पार्टिसिपेट करे, और धीरे धीरे हम लेवल को बढ़ाते चले जाएं। उसमें जरूरत होती है हमें एक कंप्यूटराइज टीचिंग बोर्ड की, जो हम स्कूल में उतना अच्छे से, खासकर गवर्नमेंट स्कूल में वो चीजें हमें नहीं प्रोवाइड होती थी। तो ऐसा संभव नहीं हो सकता कि हम विद इन 40 मिनट हम एक पेपर दें बच्चे को, बच्चे उनको सोल्व करें उन ऑब्जेक्टिव एग्जाम को या ऑब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चन को या उनके असेसमेंट को, और हम उसको चेक भी कर लें और फिर हम उसको पढ़ा भी लें। तो बेटर तरीका ये होता है कि हम नई टेक्नोलॉजी वहां पे इंट्रोड्यूस करें, और उस टेक्नोलॉजी के थ्रू उतने ही स्पेसिफिक टाइम में हम उन बच्चों का प्रॉपर असेसमेंट भी कर पाए और अपनी तरफ से चीजों को बेहतरीन तरीके से रिप्रेजेंट भी कर पाए। दूसरा एक चीज मैं ये कहना चाह रहा था कि बहुत बार ऐसा होता है कि कोई बच्चा रेगुलर अपनी स्टडी को कंटिन्यू नहीं कर पाता, बीच में अपनी स्टडी छोड़ देता है, या कभी वैसे भी बच्चा 1-2 दिन छुट्टी ले लेता है स्कूल से या किसी और वजह से। और ये जो लर्निंग प्रोसेस है ये बेसिकली कंटिन्यू है। अगर हमने सेकंड क्लास की थी और उसके बाद हम 5th क्लास में आ रहे हैं और बीच की क्लास अगर उसने नहीं की है, तो शायद वो उतने अच्छे तरीके से उस बातों को नहीं समझ पाएगा। अगर वो कंटिन्यू रहता तब वो समझ पाता। तो ऑनलाइन लर्निंग उसको घर बैठे वो एक्सपीरियंस प्रोवाइड करा सकती है कि जो 2-3 क्लासें उसकी मिस हुई है वो अपने घर पे ही बैठ के उन क्लासों को पढ़ ले। अगर वो बीमार है उस सिचुएशन में भी उन क्लासों को वो पढ़ ले, और जब वो स्कूल में आए तो वो चीजें कम से कम एक बेसिक लेवल उसका तैयार हो, ताकि जब वो क्लास में आए तो कुछ लेवल पे तो एटलीस्ट वो पार्टिसिपेट कर पाए। तो ऑनलाइन लर्निंग इस मामले में उसकी हेल्प करती है। तीसरा जो मैं आपको कहना चाह रहा हूं कि हमें एक एकेडमिक सेशन ऑफलाइन भी बच्चे की लाइफ के लिए बड़ा जरूरी होता है, क्योंकि वहीं पे वो ग्रुप बनाता है, अपने यार दोस्त चुनता है, और वहीं पे वो लाइफ की बारीकियां सीखता है। क्योंकि बच्चा प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग जो उसका नेचर है वो हमारे पढ़ाने से तैयार नहीं होना, वो उसकी सरकमस्टांसेस से तैयार होता है। जब तक बच्चा उन सरकमस्टांसेस को फेस नहीं करेगा तब तक वो उस प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग नेचर को तैयार ही नहीं कर पाएगा। अगर हम एक बच्चे को ऐसी जगह पे रख दें जहां कोई प्रॉब्लम ना हो और बहुत स्मूथली उसका जीवन चलता रहे, और एक सर्टेन टाइम के बाद हम उसे एक नॉर्मल वर्ल्ड में लेके आएंगे, तो वो बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम फेस करेगा। यानी एकेडमिक जो ऑफलाइन सेशन है वो भी बहुत ज्यादा रिक्वायर्ड है उस बच्चे की एक्चुअल ग्रोथ के लिए, क्योंकि वो समाज से जो अपना रिश्ता बनाएगा वो वहीं से सीखता है। लेकिन उसके साथ साथ ऑनलाइन भी रिक्वायर्ड है उस बच्चे के लिए, और उसका कारण ये होता है कि ऑनलाइन जो एजुकेशन है उसमें हम टेक्नोलॉजी का उस स्तर पे प्रयोग कर सकते हैं जिस स्तर पे ऑफलाइन में हम उस टेक्नोलॉजी का प्रयोग नहीं कर सकते। आप देख भी रहे हैं इस पेंडेमिक के टाइम पे, चाहे वो यूट्यूब हो चाहे कोई भी चीजें हो, यूट्यूब पे एकेडमिक का बच्चा इतना कभी भी नहीं होता था जितना इस कोरोना टाइम के बाद आया है। और अब मोस्टली जितने भी यूट्यूबर्स हैं सबके पास लाखों बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं और ऑनलाइन लाइव क्लासेस वो ले रहे हैं। उसका एक सबसे बड़ा कारण वहां पे एक ये है कि वहां जो पढ़ाने का तरीका है वो बिल्कुल एकेडमिक से डिफरेंट हो गया जो उस अपने स्कूल में पढ़ता था। उसका कारण क्या है कि ऑनलाइन में जब वो टीचर पढ़ा रहा है तो उसको एक्चुअल में उस चीज को विजुलाइज करा दे रहा है, चाहे वो वीडियो है चाहे वो 3D वीडियो के थ्रू उस चीज को समझा रहा है। जैसे मैं ही अपने मैथ के सब्जेक्ट को समझाता हूँ, और मैं अपने ऑफलाइन क्लास में अगर किसी बच्चे को पिरामिड के बारे में समझाना चाहूँ तो शायद मैं इतना कैपेबल नहीं हूँ कि मैं उसको विजुलाइज करा पाऊँ उस चीज को। वही अगर मेरे पास टेक्नोलॉजी है, मेरे पास उसकी ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म है जहाँ पे मैं वीडियो के थ्रू उस बच्चे को विजुलाइज करा पाऊँ। सीखने का एक सबसे अच्छा तरीका होता है समझना, और समझ कोई बच्चा तभी सकता है जब वो पूरी तरीके से पार्टिसिपेट करे। और जब तक हम बच्चे को पार्टिसिपेट ही नहीं करा पाएंगे क्लास में, हमने एक उसको पिरामिड का एग्जांपल दिया, उसको कुछ एग्जांपल के थ्रू उसको थोड़ा समझाना शुरू किया, बच्चा उस चीज को विजुलाइज ही नहीं कर पा रहा है, बच्चा उस तक पहुंच ही नहीं पा रहा है, तो हम कैसे उम्मीद कर सकते हैं कि बच्चा उस चीज को समझे। मैंने बहुत बार ऐसा देखा है कि बच्चों की प्रवृत्ति, खासकर मैं अपने सब्जेक्ट के बारे में बताता हूँ, कि एक स्टेज के बाद उनकी प्रवृत्ति रटने की हो जाती है, और यह लगभग बहुत सारे बच्चों की प्रवृत्ति हो जाती है। और ये रटने की जो प्रवृत्ति है वो उसको तब दिक्कत देती है जब वो किसी कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम की तैयारी कर रहा होता है, चाहे वो यूपीएससी की तैयारी कर रहा हो या अपने एकेडमिक कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम की तैयारी कर रहा हो। वहां पर ये जो प्रवृत्ति है, ये जो एटीट्यूड है, ये हमेशा उसको दिक्कत देगा, क्योंकि कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम बहुत डीपली पूछने वाली चीजें हैं। वहां पे इतनी गहराई में चीजें पूछी जाती है कि अगर आपको कॉन्सेप्चुअल उस चीज पे पकड़ नहीं है तो आप उस एग्जाम को क्रैक नहीं कर सकते। तो बड़ा जरूरी है कि बच्चा उन चीजों को विजुलाइज करे, और जिस चीज को बच्चा विजुलाइज कर लेता है वो चीज उसके लॉन्ग मेमोरी टाइम पे चली जाती है। उसकी भूलने की जो उसका पीरियड है वो बहुत कम हो जाता है, और बच्चे के लिए वो बड़ा हेल्दी एनवायरनमेंट तैयार होता है, और वो चीज उसको परमानेंट याद रहती है, जो उसको उसके आगे कॉम्पिटेटिव लाइफ में भी यूज होनी होती है। तो मेरा यहाँ पे कहना ये है कि हमें ऑफलाइन मोड के साथ साथ ऑनलाइन मोड की तरफ बढ़ना होगा, और बच्चे को दोनों मोड लेके आगे बढ़ाना होगा। ऐसा भी नहीं कह सकते कि केवल ऑनलाइन मोड ही काफी है बच्चे के लिए, बिल्कुल नहीं। ऐसा भी नहीं कह सकते कि केवल ऑफलाइन मोड काफी है, वो भी नहीं है। इस टाइम पे जब पूरे वर्ल्ड में वर्चुअल यूनिवर्सिटीज तैयार होने लग रही हैं, आने वाले कुछ ही सालों में ऐसा भी होगा कि वर्चुअल स्कूल्स तैयार होने लग रहे होंगे, तो हम अगर अपने बच्चों को इस वक्त पे अगर हम रेडी नहीं करेंगे आने वाले टाइम के लिए, तो शायद हम उन बच्चों के साथ जस्टिफाई नहीं करेंगे। तो मेरा कहना यहाँ पे यही है, ऑनलाइन और ऑफलाइन दोनों एक साथ चलते हैं तो ऑनलाइन उनको बेटर असेसमेंट दे सकता है, लेकिन टेक्नोलॉजी जो भी हम यूज करें वो यूजर फ्रेंडली होनी चाहिए। जो टीचिंग बिहेवियर होना चाहिए वो बिल्कुल डिफरेंट होना चाहिए ऑफलाइन के अलावा। जिस तरह से हम ऑफलाइन में पढ़ रहे हैं, अगर हम उसी बिहेवियर को, उसी टेक्नोलॉजी को, उसी एटीट्यूड का अगर हम ऑनलाइन में प्रमोट करेंगे तो ऑनलाइन में बच्चा उस तरीके से नहीं पढ़ पाएगा। सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत ये होती है कि जब एक बच्चा एक क्लासरूम में बैठा होता है तो उसके लिए एक शायद कहीं ना कहीं ये मजबूरी भी होती है कि वो उस क्लासरूम से बाहर देख नहीं सकता, उसके बाहर सोच नहीं सकता, उसको वहां बैठना पड़ता है। लेकिन जब वो ऑनलाइन बैठा होता है तो उसके पास पूरा वर्ल्ड खुला हुआ है, वो हर चीज को समझता है, हर चीज की तरफ देखता है। तो ऑनलाइन जो टीचिंग लर्निंग प्रोसेस है ये इतना स्मूथ होना चाहिए, इतना इम्पैक्ट डालने वाला होना चाहिए कि बच्चा कंसंट्रेट करे उस मोबाइल पे, उस टैब पे जो उसके सामने है, ना कि वो कहीं इधर उधर घूम जाए। तो जो टेक्नोलॉजी है, जो ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म है, ये उस बच्चे को इस चीज में हेल्प करते हैं कि उसका जो कंसंट्रेशन है वो उसी क्लास पे बना रहे, उसका पार्टिसिपेशन मैक्सिमम कराया जा सके, जो भी चीज पढ़ाई जा रही है वो मैक्सिमम टू मैक्सिमम उसको विजुलाइज कराई जाए, और कोशिश ये की जाए कि हम उसको बताने की जगह हम उससे पूछने की कोशिश करें और धीरे धीरे उसको तैयार करें, ना कि हम एक तैयार किए हुए पैटर्न को उसके ऊपर थोप दें। तो मुझे लगता है कि दोनों चीजें अपने आप में बहुत जरूरी हैं, और मैं आप सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूं कि आपने मुझे मौका दिया और आपने मेरी बात सुनी। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you, Rakesh, sir, for the excellent speech and helping us understand the subject through your deep knowledge of hybrid learning environment. Uh, Next, we have Dr. Niyati Chitkara, Director Schools, Chitkara International School, Panchkula and Chandigarh. Dr. Niyati Chitkara is director of Chitkara International School. She is the generation next educationist who believes in developing a learning environment in which every student can experience success and challenges. She visions to create a sense of integrity, dignity, and confidence amongst young learners so they are ready to face life's challenges. Dr. Chitkara has completed her doctorate in school-based assessment, including the continuous comprehensive evaluation. She holds 18 years of experience in the field of education. Her educational accreditations include an M.Ed topper from Punjab University, one of the top 10 rank holders during her Bachelor's of Education, and a gold medalist in Masters of Commerce and Business Administration. She is also an external expert for Board of Studies of Bachelors of Education at Chitkara College of Education. Dr. Niyati Chitkara has been chosen amongst 33 young rising stars of Indian education by Education World. Ma'am, please enlighten us with your view on the topic, the gamut of school education post-COVID-19, personalized, hybrid, and collaborative, and how COVID-19 is impacting lives of so many people. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Nupur ma'am, for a detailed introduction. Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Niyati Chitkara, and I'm one of the teachers and teacher educators who was unstoppable during COVID times, and I'm super proud of it. So I come from an organization that has a gamut of education, right from playway to PhD. So, I've seen the experience starting from playway to PhD to employability and to the life at large. So my topic is the gamut of education, but I'll specifically focus on school education. And, there are three words, in my topic: personalization, hybrid, and collaborative. So these are three things which COVID has taught us, and we can't, just leave these words now once the COVID gets over. Secondly, in my talk, I would request all of you to please consider three perspectives always, whenever any point is being, is coming into consideration. Number one is environment. So three lessons that COVID has taught us. Number one, environment. Number two, in every lesson of our school from K till 12, it is so important to add values. COVID time has taught us that earlier we were teaching, sharing is caring. And today we are stopping children not to share. Right? So values have gone for a toss, and it's so important post-COVID to reframe the curriculum for values. And thirdly, it's general awareness, because it's a knowledge economy. So these three parameters will always remain in whatever discussion points I raise today. Again, my talk will cover three perspectives, and not three is just my lucky number, but three perspectives, because I'll be talking about schools, I'll be talking about B.Ed college, and I'll be talking about industry. Three areas which provide the entire landscape of school education. Now, we all know about national education policy and the stages and the structure, 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, right? Now, to understand 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 post-COVID, let's divide it into further three stages. Number one is input stage. Number two is processing stage. And number three is output stage. Jaise computer mein hota hai, right? Now, input stage is called the parvarish stage, the early childhood education and care stage, and grade 1 and grade 2. Now, there are certain suggestions which I would like to provide, first of all, to the school people, secondly, to the teachers and the B.Ed colleges, and thirdly, to the industry. I'll be crisp and try to finish my talk in time. So number one is that for early childhood education and care, it is very important to have IQ subjects in kindergarten. It is so important to have EQ subjects and SQ subject, as ma'am mentioned, all the Qs, the happiness quotient, all have to be embedded in first 6 years. Why? Because input nahi hogi, to output kaise aayegi? If you don't train students how to be happy, how can they be happy in future? So it is so important that first 6 years, IQ, EQ, SQ, and all these subjects are part of the curriculum. Along with that, assessments have to be very innovative. Further, for teacher education and B.Ed teachers. Now, there are certain theories that I would like to name, जो आपके teachers को आनी चाहिए after NEP and COVID. Number one, all the theories relating to early childhood learning and development. If you don't know it, your online classes will be very boring. You will not be able to create an impact. Number two, multiple intelligence theory. Number three, Kohlberg's moral development theory. जैसे मैंने बोला, moral values have gone for a toss. So this is the answer. Next, you must know Montessori methods. Of course, a lot of people, a lot of teachers already know. And you must know sounds, expression, theater, drama, all that. Humor, to add fun to your classes. Next, for the industry. Now, this level, there is a lot of scope. The products that industry, they're creating for academics, for the school education at this level, there are very few products that are comprehensive in nature, that are useful to us. So I request all industry people who design softwares and come and, they share and want to collaborate, please create products which are child friendly and teacher friendly, that ease the life of the teacher. Teacher is already overburdened with a lot of stuff. So it's important that if you want to do more and move to the next level, try to make the life of a teacher easy and try to create products for the teachers and students. Second level, the 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, I've combined both the threes together. Now this stage is processing stage, and this is very important. A message for the parents also. You should not start expecting output unless the input and processing stages are over. अगर आप पहले शोर मचाएंगे, so absorption affect होगी student की. So it is so important that please wait for the output stage, right? And this is the stage of absorption. Now at this stage, lot of tools are being suggested by CBSE. First of all, SAFL framework. So the structured assessment framework जो CBSE ने provide किया है, I request all the schools to please take it very seriously, because that's going to answer post-COVID assessments. And अगर B.Ed colleges अपने teachers को train नहीं करते हैं SAFL में, then it is going to be so difficult for schools to train teachers on SAFL. So please, whatever CBSE is doing, B.Ed colleges and all the teacher education institutions must follow religiously. And also a request to all the school owners, all the heads and the principals. These sessions and trainings are ideally extremely important. If you don't catch up with them, you're going to lose out. So that's one thing. Another lot of technology stuff we can add at this stage. We can add coding, we can add robotics, we can add technology inspired textile, we can add computer science, we can add electronics, energy, all these subjects can be introduced. But the most important thing, as Sir Deepak Sir just mentioned about examination, we can't test unless we have taught. So it is so important, first of all, to teach and then to test only what have you taught. So please, बच्चों को orientation का तैयारी कराइए for examination. Do not start examination instantly at this stage. Your teachers must know certain theories. So I'm going to be talking about these theories. Bloom's taxonomy, आपके teachers को आना चाहिए. Then a mastery learning is again important. Till the time one topic is not done, do not move to the next topic. Then Piaget's cognitive development theory. You must know and apply in your math classes, specifically maths classes. Then item creation, item analysis. Biswajit Saha sir mentioned about the impact analysis. This stage of teachers will be using a lot of data science. So please prepare your teachers for all this. And then creation of question banks, feedback and diagnostic assessments. So it is so important, and SAFL is all about that. Next, we're talking about 6th onwards, the career structures should start. You should start working on your students to design their portfolios. You can start with career trajectory, checking how the students are getting trained for future careers and future higher education institutions. Now, industry takeaway. You can come up with fantastic models for internships. Please, आप ऐसे models create कीजिए जिसमें schools and children, they do not have to travel, and those can be handled virtually. These should be cost effective and without any traffic congestions, without any safety concerns. Students can visit educational institutions or areas, industrial organizations. So this is important. So digital internship coding, this is very important and should start from 6th onward. Also, a lot of schools have got ATL, the Atal Tinkering Labs. So it's my request, it's a fantastic curriculum and you should start propagating it, take it very seriously and embed STEM and STEAM education into your students because that's the future. Now the last stage that I'll be talking, 9, 10th, 11, 12. Now this is the output stage. Input अच्छी है, processing अच्छी है, lubrication अच्छा है, lubricants are research, lubricants are information, knowledge, pedagogy, अच्छी है, output अच्छी होगी. So 9, 10th, 11th, 12, they are board driven classes. Now, since the director CBSE is here as in a panel, so it's my request to you, sir, if you can start with a special transcript for co-curriculars. We get a report card in 10th which talks about academics. It's all about board marks and all. But if we can come up with a separate transcript for co-curriculars, because all foreign universities, they value community work of the students, they value all the certifications because that's an edge to get an admission in foreign universities. And I request Indian universities to please start giving weightages to the co-curricular transcript. So if this can happen, our Indian education system will restructure and it'll come to a total cohesion. Last but not the least, the portfolio construction. And please train your students how to write research papers, the patents, the white papers, the parliamentary debates, declamations, allocutions, extempore, co-curriculars. So this is there. And also for B.Ed teachers, you should be knowing how to use sociogram. You should be knowing how to use a queuing technique, how to use ink blot, picture projection to know your students more. Specifically now when they're online, how do you know them? So you can do a picture projection test. You can do an ink blot test. So these are the techniques online for assessments that you can do to know them. The observation technique, the surveys, the opinionaires, the questionnaires. And for teachers, you must know Erikson theory, you must know Vygotsky, you must know personality theory, you must know career aptitude tests, and you must know how to do career fairs and exhibition, because this is the time you're training students for all that. So this is there, and please use your alumni because they are your parvarish again. You have made them pass through all the 3 stages, input, processing, and output. So itna mehnat karke, please don't let your alumni go out and please handhold them. Even if they take admission in any of the universities, please unka dhyan rakhiye. And for industry, इस स्टेज पे कोई कंटेंट अवेलेबल नहीं है. सो आई रिक्वेस्ट इंडस्ट्री पीपल टू प्लीज क्रिएट सॉफ्टवेयर फॉर 9th 10th 11th 12th. This is the least innovative and interesting area and space. So there's a lot of potential there. Mentoring sessions are there, and we are working with 100 schools in the northern area, where B.Ed colleges and the school, the Chitkara College, is working with 100 schools. There are also a lot of schools in Dubai. We are working together. So I request all schools to please partner with either us or a lot of other teacher training good institutions to take teacher education to the next level. If teachers are not equipped, the generation is really going to get affected, whether you're offline, whether you're online. So thank you so much. That's the gamut of education. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Your views were both fascinating and intriguing, but I particularly like hearing about some of the new initiatives being put into place in this segment by you. We also at Careerville believe that the need for hybrid learning has gained importance from both the school leaders and the parents, especially when it comes to eradicating the need for unnecessary after school classes, which can be replaced by co-curricular activities. And weightage to co-curriculars and theories to assess the children during online classes is indeed the need of the hour. So thank you very much, ma'am. Now we have Dr. Ranjan Gautam, Director Bhagwan Mahavir International School, Surat. Dr. Gautam is a pioneer in the world of education in India, spanning more than 2 decades of experience. He has been an educator, speaker par excellence, guide, mentor, and administrator. He started his teaching career in the year 1995, adhering to the national curriculum teaching social sciences and history to learners of CBSE, state boards, and undergraduate learners of University of Delhi. Under his expertise in the world of education and capacity as the principal of Foundation Academy, IIT Patna, the school successfully achieved the CBSE affiliation in record time. He has been delivering training, workshops, and lectures for parents, teachers, and learners for enhanced learning programs, career prospectus, and futuristic learning tools for learners of CBSE and IGCSE curriculum in the last 15 years at multiple podiums. Over to you, Dr. Gautam.
Good afternoon, everybody. Am I audible? Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for being part of this process.
Sir, I would request you, sir, please increase the voice.
So now, am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir, please.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity part of this discussion. I think the work that we have a very relevant topic, not only in the source of work that we discuss. The one word I like, I think, of this democratic word. Democratic. Talk about democracy in countries, talk about the democracy, but we don't talk about the democracy. We talk about democracy. The decision taken about everybody has to be part of that decision process. I will share it. I divided part first is the historical aspect, and we share my one of the finest that the government of India has done on the Prime Minister. Third part is the full story. India has its own institutional system, but in the year 1935, it always came up with the English education.
Sir, you are not audible, sir.
Am I audible, sir?
Sir, you have to increase the voice from your mic, sir. सर आपके लेफ्ट हैंड में जो माइक है सर उसमें से वॉल्यूम इंक्रीज कर लीजिए सर प्लीज. सर आपने बंद कर दिया है, प्लीज इंक्रीज. नो सर, नो वॉइस सर.
Am I audible, sir?
Sir please.
Yeah. So, as I studied that I will be on a steep path because this one is the democratization of the degree, which is quite the topic in my view. So, for the first time, the system has taken a topic of democratization. So, if I have divided my system into three parts, first is the historical aspect. Second is the third is the post-COVID challenges. What is the topic of it? So I will be sharing my PPT with you all. So India had its own education system before Macaulay came up with the English education. After independence, we followed more or less same education system. Now we are talking about democratization of it. In the entire education system, no one was asking to the child what his field must do, but every child is asked to follow the curriculum. If a child wants to become an astronaut, rather than giving life education to the child, our education wanted the child to be small, applying mathematics from the year 2005 for commerce. But before that, science and commerce in mathematics. Earlier, commerce students used to ask how pure mathematics is very relevant for us. I am glad to share with you all that we produce many subjects that are helpful for the education. I am really grateful that under the guidance of Saha sir, we produce many subjects, and I think all the families will also with that. National education policy is going to revolutionize my philosophy. So the figure of this policy is this. This policy gives a child an option to select his HPC life. Now, the children will have an option to learn and earn from the skills that have been taught in the school. There are two questions asked of us as an educator. Why are we not having more students in normal price? Why don't we produce entrepreneurs? The answer lies in education. Being a stakeholder, that is, the child is not having any opportunity. But naturally, option to this child will select the skill which he or she learns. If a person does what he likes, the result will become extraordinary. Also, national education policies will help the child to become financially self-dependent. In my opinion, it can be divided into three parts: basic, modern, and advanced. Basic. What do you mean by basic? There should be an education system which is located to our Indian culture. Want our children to become global citizens, but if they have, ideas, children, as teachers, we need to ask ourselves: are we teaching something curriculum that is being taught another to be country advanced? Are we teaching our children to develop the skill helping her to get the job after 10 years from now, with many jobs which are relevant today, not be relevant after 10 years, as the nature of jobs keeps changing. Market conditions need to democratize education. So, in my opinion, excellent philosophy of education needs to be reviewed so that the present curriculum books of NCERT are based on NCS, National Curriculum Framework 2003. Since then, many policies have been taken by CBSE regarding curriculum, and in my opinion, they are excellent and pragmatic, like compulsory education of a pure it has been good, but the teaching never given on more than 10 years. For example, in social science subject, 9th and 10th, the child has to study 4 books more than 10 chapters. Challenges variable learning of the child. And his vision and philosophy needs to be reviewed, does not enough. One of the are responsible for consolidated comprehensive policy distribution by all rightly told by Niyati ma'am that principal teachers and students should be trained to understand the clear vision of this policy. According to now I'm coming to the next part. According to the World Economic Forum, future of jobs. 2020 report 94% of business report they expect employees to pick up new skills on the job. A sharp uptake from 55% in 2018. If individuals acquire the necessary skills, they will be able to more fully participate in the post-pandemic economy. And social architecture was saying that we have advanced ourselves early because of the pandemic. I think that greatly in design for the Indian education system or the world education system. Because we have what the technological advancement was happening, their online platforms was happening, the advancement in a bit fast because of the COVID situation. Now, what are the challenges? Knowledge unable to be to participate in the economic democratization of the schools. The democratization of the schools would result in more work. There is shortage of talent in digital media. And here, the NCA will help the children to gain skills and the required talent for taking up the job. The digital world can be more democratic. It is possible to join the globalization and the internet. You can educate the learners from any city. Education is this rights and the foundation on which to build peace and sustainable development. Now, sustainable development. One of the things I was talking about environment. I would just like to add that apart from environment, we also need to teach children about sustainable development. Gender discrimination will also be a step, means that girls' educational attainments are likely to suffer greatly post-COVID, with the risk of many not returning to school post-COVID. COVID-19 has the potential to radically reshape our world, but we must not specifically spread and observe what is out. Now is the time for public deliberation and democratic accountability. Now is the time for collective action. Prices must be based on a humanistic vision of education and development and human rights framework. We should commit to extensive education as a common good. Find the definition of right to education so that it addresses the importance of connectivity and access to knowledge and information. Make free and open schools not available to teachers and COVID-19 presents us with a real challenge and a real responsibility. Ideas like an action by government, international organizations, civil society, educational professionals, as well as learners and stakeholders at all levels. Learning to become initiative, aim of these education and reimagining how knowledge and learning can shape the future. First, I would like to conclude myself that post-COVID is a challenge, but this challenge as a teacher, as Simon was saying, that teachers has taken up the challenges and we have been very successful in uh, in, facing these challenges. Thank you. I have concluded myself.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Your thoughts on the subject will surely be impactful, sir. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Satyendra Tiwari, Vice President, Careerville. Mr. Satyendra Tiwari has more than a decade of professional work experience, encapsulates a varied portfolio, started off as an entrepreneur and transformed into a mentor. During his span, he has mentored and trained thousands of engineering and management students for verbal ability, employability skills, and hundreds of professionals from varied backgrounds on personal effectiveness and transformation through a variety of training modules and methodology. He is a full-time dedicated human capital management professional and learner who believes in the philosophy that any organization or entity can attain its full potential if we know how to lead and realize the potential of the basic entity of any organization, that is, human beings. Satyendra Tiwari is a certified corporate trainer with the accredited membership of International Institute of Coaching, Coachville, an association for coaching, working currently as the Vice President at Careerville Information Center Private Limited. Over to you, sir.
Tiwari ji, you have to unmute yourself. Harish, please do the needful. Harish? Now it's better, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, please go
Okay.
ahead.
Thank you, Nupur ma'am, for your kind introduction. And am I audible now?
Yes, you are, sir.
Yes, please
Okay.
go ahead.
So good afternoon, each and everyone who is watching this video, and good afternoon to all the esteemed panelists. So the topic of discussion is reimagining education post-COVID-19. And we are also talking about the democratizing education system. So I am the last speaker, and I think all the speakers have pointed out all the relevant points related to this discussion. But the point what I want to raise is, that is the skills area actually. This has been my experience in training particularly for the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Students are not skilled enough, and there has been focus particularly in getting degrees and not on the skills area. And that is reflected when we get into the work field. And जो भी आप data देखते हैं हम आपके recruiters के द्वारा, that simply reflects that जो students निकल रहे हैं professional institutions से, they are not equipped enough to work in a particular setup, जो professional setup है. So online education definitely can play an important role in that particular area. But एक जो बड़ा challenge हमें नजर आता है, because जैसे मैम ने भी rightly pointed out किया कि जब तक वो human connection नहीं है, वो थोड़ा सा एक मुश्किल होता है, and that is a fallout of ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन वो हम कह सकते हैं, बिकॉज वो देखना काफी मुश्किल हो जाता है जहां पे एक इंडिविजुअल टच डेवलप ना हो पाए, राइट. एंड like ma'am pointed out, input, processing and output, these are really very relevant steps, and sometimes हम बहुत ज्यादा शायद आउटपुट पाने के लिए बेचैन हो जाते हैं, और पेरेंट्स की तरफ से ये बहुत देखने को मिलता है, खासतौर से कोविड टाइम्स में भी मैम ने भी फेस किया होगा स्कूल्स में कि बच्चों में वो रिजल्ट नहीं आ रहा. सो वी नीड टू बी पेशेंट हर एक स्टेज के लिए. और यहाँ पे इस बात को समझना बहुत जरूरी है कि एजुकेशन में फोकस हमेशा रहा है मेमोराइजेशन के ऊपर. इवन in my CAT classes, particularly in introductory classes, I used to ask this question that what kind of difference you feel in terms of your school education and when you come to prepare for these kinds of competitive exams. How is it different? What one feature distinguishes this whole process? So the term that is memorization focuses more on rote learning schools के अंदर, और जब वो transition करके इस field के लिए आते हैं competitive exams के लिए, तो here the focus is on understanding. वो ट्रांजिशन भी काफी मुश्किल होता है बच्चे के लिए, और उसके बिना शायद वो एक्सप्रेशन जो चाहिए वो निकल के नहीं आ पाता. सर ने भी, राकेश सर ने भी इस बात पे फोकस किया कि अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेप, लाइक नोइंग, अंडरस्टैंडिंग, एंड देन यू नीड टू चैनलाइज दैट अंडरस्टैंडिंग इन सम सॉर्ट ऑफ एक्सपेरिमेंट, जिसकी मैम ने भी बात की. जब एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग है, बच्चा रोल प्लेस के थ्रू सीख रहा है, हम उसे इंगेज कर रहे हैं, तो उस पर्टिकुलर एक्सपेरिमेंट से जो एक्सपीरियंस करता है वो एक्सपीरियंस उसका पर्सनलाइज्ड एक्सपीरियंस है और उसके साथ वो रह जाता है. इफ वी आर जस्ट इम्पोजिंग समथिंग जो शायद वो अच्छे तरीके से ग्रैस्प नहीं कर रहा, तो वो ज्यादा समय तक नहीं रहने वाला. दैट इज समथिंग व्हिच इज सुपरफिशियल, और वो थोड़े समय के बाद फिर से गायब हो जाता है. और उस पर्टिकुलर एक्सपीरियंस के बाद जो उसका एक्सप्रेशन है, दैट इज गोइंग टू बी इंपैक्टफुल. So this could be a kind of flow chart, knowing, understanding, then channelize that particular understanding in some sort of experiment. And after experimenting something, the kind of experience you get, that is your personalized earning actually. And that reflects in your expression. What kind of expression you are talking about? चाहे वो written expression है, oral expression है, या जो भी कुछ है. अब जैसे हमने यहाँ पे स्किल्स की जब बात करी है, तो बहुत सारे अलग अलग तरह के क्वेश्चन की बात हुई है. एंड आई ऑलवेज फोकस ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर एस्पेक्ट बिकॉज IQ इज द एरिया जहां पे लगातार फोकस हमारा रहा है. लेकिन शायद 90s में ये नया टर्म कॉइन किया गया EQ, एंड वी स्टार्टेड टॉकिंग अबाउट द राइट ब्रेन एंड लेफ्ट ब्रेन काइंड ऑफ थिंग, दैट वी नीड टू फोकस ऑन द EQ एज वेल. So when you are able to channelize your both parts of right and left brain in a very holistic manner, then you develop yourself in a holistic personality, और वो जाकर के शायद आपको फिर रिफ्लेक्ट करता है. लेकिन जो सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज यहाँ पे है वो Tier 2 और Tier 3 सिटीज के लिए है. हम जो भी स्कूल्स की बात कर रहे हैं, यहाँ पे डेफिनेटली एलीट क्राउड्स पड़ता है. और जैसे साहा सर ने भी कहा, डॉक्टर साहा ने भी कहा कि अगर हम CBSE की बात करें तो शायद 25% स्कूल CBSE के अंडर आते हैं. मेजर चंक जो है वो नहीं है. डिजिटल डिवाइड की दिक्कत है यहाँ पे, जो की प्रॉब्लम निकल के आई. अभी भी देयर आर आई थिंक 9 to 10% हाउस होल्ड, अगर हम जनरली डेटा की बात करें अर्बन एंड रूरल दोनों मिला करके, तो उनके पास डिवाइसेस एंड कनेक्शन होगा. इंटरनेट पेनिट्रेशन का हाल हमें पता है. तो शायद जो हमारी गवर्नमेंट मशीनरीज हैं उनका भी ये रोल है कि पूरी मशीनरी को सही करने में, कि जो पर्पस के लिए हम काम कर रहे हैं वो मीट हो पाए, उसके लिए काम करना पड़ेगा. हम एक तरीके से एक एजुकेटर के तौर पे या एक फेटर्निटी के तौर पे, चाहे वो स्कूल्स हैं या हमारी जैसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस जो हैं, ये अपना रोल निभा रही हैं. लेकिन जो डिजिटल डिवाइड की बार बार बात आ रही है, उसको बिना सही किए हम इस सिस्टम को सही तरीके से फ्रूटफुल नहीं बना सकते. और शायद ये पिछला 2 साल बहुत सारे बच्चों के लिए बहुत बुरा अनुभव भी रहेगा. एक तो क्लासरूम वाला एक्सपीरियंस नहीं मिला, प्लस जिन बच्चों के पास मोबाइल फोन्स नहीं थे, देयर वाज अ ट्रेजिक एक्सीडेंट. आई थिंक एवरीवन of us is aware of that. There was a student from LSR, Lady Siram College, शायद तेलंगाना से आई थी वो, and she committed suicide because she couldn't arrange a laptop for herself. And this is a tragic incident. कि वो अपना होम स्टेट छोड़ करके दिल्ली आई, LSR जैसे रेप्यूटेड इंस्टीट्यूशंस में उसने एडमिशन लिया, बट फाइनेंशियल कंडीशंस उसकी इतनी वीक थी कि वो एक लैपटॉप भी अरेंज नहीं कर पा रही. और ये हाल LSR में पढ़ने वाले स्टूडेंट का है. देन वी कैन इमेजिन कि किस तरह की सिचुएशंस हैं. और ऐसे सिचुएशन में ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म्स डेफिनेटली कैन प्ले अ रोल. एंड आई कुड टॉक अबाउट आवर प्लेटफॉर्म. वी आर गोइंग टू सेलिब्रेट द 3rd anniversary on 23rd October 2021, and in this span we have taught more than 1.2 million students. When I started this particular platform back in 2018, at that time there were 10,000 downloads, and currently we have 3 million downloads, and 1.2 million students have been taught by this particular platform, and they got selected. And most importantly, the target audience is that Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities what I was talking about. वो किसान का बच्चा है, वो फर्स्ट जनरेशन पढ़ने वाला है, शायद उसके पास उतनी अमेनिटीज नहीं थी, वो दिल्ली आकर के मुखर्जी नगर में रह करके वो शायद 50,000 लाख रुपए नहीं खर्च कर सकता, और हमने टिकट प्राइस हमेशा वो कम रखी। जो हम डेमोक्रेटाइजेशन की बात कर रहे हैं, वो टिकट प्राइस हमेशा कम रही, और सारे जो एस्टीम्ड फैकल्टीज हैं वो मुखर्जी नगर से पढ़ा रहे हैं, एंड ऑल अक्रॉस इंडिया स्टूडेंट्स पढ़ रहे हैं और सिलेक्शन ले रहे हैं, और उनके घर में शायद वो एक नौकरी पूरे घर परिवार के लिए एक बहुत बड़ी ताकत है। वो कई बार फर्स्ट जनरेशन पढ़ने वाले बच्चे हैं। तो डेफिनेटली ये पावर है ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म्स के अंदर कि हम एजुकेशन को डेमोक्रेटाइज कर सकते हैं, लेकिन जो स्कूल्स का काम है, खासतौर से जो हमने बात की टीयर 2 और टीयर 3 सिटीज की, कि वो स्किल्स के ऊपर ज्यादा ध्यान दें, वो बहुत जरूरी है। मैं कई बार स्पोकन के बैचेस लेता हूँ, लॉट ऑफ, और वैसे भी टीयर 2 टीयर 3 सिटीज का ये मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है। lot of candidates do feel that spoken English is all about doing translations, and lots of trainers actually teaching translations in the name of spoken English, and students are happy to pay that because they are not aware of the fact, they are not aware of what is vocal intonation, what is vocal energy, why is modulation, diction, pronunciation, all the technical aspects, the choice of vocabulary, what is connotation, what is denotation, what is degree of word, which word is suitable in which context. They are not aware of these things, and they are just focusing on doing translations, and those candidates are graduates sometimes. If I this is a very simple task that you have 30 seconds, introduce yourself, and then they realize that 30 seconds is such a long time. My name is this, मैं यहाँ पैदा हुआ था, यहाँ पाया जाता हूँ, ये डिग्री ली है मैंने, ये परसेंटेज है, फिर माय मदर, माय फादर, माय ब्रदर एंड सिस्टर, और फिर उन्हें ये एहसास कराना पड़ता है कि यू हैव लिव्ड योर लाइफ सम 20 odd years and you do not have enough content to talk about yourself for 90 seconds. What kind of garibi it is? And then they realize. So there is a huge scope in this particular area. There is a huge gap, huge disparity, and मुझे ये लगता है कि एजुकेशन फ्रेटर्निटी के तौर पे, चाहे स्कूल्स हैं या हमारी जैसी प्राइवेट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं, इनका बड़ा रोल है इस गैप को ब्रिज अप करने में। एंड वही बात है, स्कोप बहुत ज्यादा है, क्योंकि हम खासतौर से वो टीयर 2 टीयर 3 सिटीज के बच्चे जो कि गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स के लिए प्रिपेयर करते हैं, हम उनको कैटर करते हैं, और ये हमारा पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस है। सो दैट्स ऑल फ्रॉम माय साइड।
Thank you, sir. Your insights into this most important topic, I know, will affect all of us here in the educational fraternity.
Thank you.
As we approach towards the end, I thank each and every one of the speakers today for sharing valuable thoughts and enlightening us on the much sought discussion to implement necessary changes in the education system in India. The discussion on hybrid and collaborative learning is indeed the need of the hour in the school, and EdTech should certainly work together on a mission to democratize education in India. Not taking much time, I would like to proceed to the Q&A session. So the first question for today that we have is for Dr. Niyati. Do you think post-pandemic schools and colleges will be more flexible to the needs of students instead of a one-size-fits-all approach?
Hi, am I audible? I know something wrong with my video, but am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay, yeah. So I think there is no choice because they will have to. Today the question is that, the learner, it is all about self-learning. And one thing which COVID has taught us is that schools and colleges and universities, they have to go hand in hand, whether they like it or whether they don't like it. And secondly, it is so important to personalize education. And when I talk about personalization, it means flexibility. So definitely we are talking about flexibility, and one size fits all approach will definitely not serve. It's not serving right now as well. And there's a lot of potential for the industry, first of all, to create a software where they can unite school education and university education. Because schools ka apna timetable hai, universities have their own timetable, their cycles and academic frameworks don't match. If somebody is able to do that, that's going to be incredible. And that is something which will make sense to the education span. That will be something which will provide a continuum to the educational landscape. So it is so important that if we want to personalize education, provide flexibility, we have to work in tandem together. So that's my answer.
Thank you, Dr. Niyati. I believe your ideas and suggestions contributed immensely to the discussion. Next question that we have is for Mr. Satyendra Tiwari, sir. Please throw light on why collaborations between schools and edtechs must be better understood by the authorities.
Sorry, ma'am, I didn't get.
Audio off.
So the question is, why
Yes,
collaborations, why
now audible.
hybrid model that should be taken up by schools and edtechs collaboratively must be better understood by the authorities?
Absolutely, because this is the need of the hour. And like Dr. Mukherjee said rightly, now the focus should be on collaboration. The time is gone of competition. Focus should be on collaboration and competence. And authorities need to apply the contemporary intelligence, what we can coin in, like the contemporary intelligence, what has been the pattern so far. Now we need to change that, and we need to bring in paradigm shift in terms of education on many levels. And this is one of the important levels that this kind of collaboration should happen, right? Because there is a particular framework schools operate on, and edtech companies will definitely come up with a lot of new ideas. Like ma'am has pointed out, from 9 to 12th standard, there is a huge scope for development of different kinds of softwares, because this particular kind of need is devised by this particular time period only. So I think government should definitely focus on this particular thing.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your understanding of this topic and suggesting us the way out. Next question that we have is, how are problems faced by teachers regarding work environment and other challenges being addressed by CBSE? So the question is from one of the attendees. I would like any one of the panelists to come up and please answer this. Dr. Niyati, I think you're on mute.
Sir, Karna.
Hello?
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are.
So can you repeat the question, ma'am?
Yes. So how are problems faced by teachers regarding work environment and other challenges being addressed by CBSE?
So let me first of all clarify that CBSE is providing a lot of support in terms of teacher training. Otherwise, all of us would have been out of our schools, traveling, spending time, and then attending programs, long programs. They've reduced it to small capsules. So that's the best part. And secondly, you can attend online. Recordings are available. So even if you're busy, you can attend and catch up to the training programs. So that's one thing which I feel CBSE has done a remarkable job covering all kind of teachers, government, private, urban, rural. So, and everybody has a mobile. So that's one thing I know right now. So, which is why, the coverage is good. Secondly, of course, a lot of training programs on how to do assessments, a lot of PPTs have been made. Otherwise, the onus used to lie on schools to do all this. And it ultimately used to lie on the teachers preparing results. So this kind of clerical work, they've come up with software. So you just have to put entries. You have to put results and it'll automatically calculate. So these kind of, situations, programs, software, they ease the life of the teacher. Otherwise, you're busy with the calculator calculating and then putting data and then going to this CBSE office and submitting document. So it's all digital. And then DigiLockers. So, you're uploading documents there and it's accessible to students. You're avoiding traffic in your school. Otherwise, you're busy attending to that kind of a work and that affects your teaching work. So the more we are engaged in our administrative job, the more tedious the working life of a teacher becomes. So these are the things where, CBSE has taken an initiative, and even with assessments framework shuffle, they will digitize it. They will come up with automated, framework. Also, they have made hubs. They've also made a lot of interaction platforms where, the city-wise groups and, area-wise clusters have been made so that you can actually go micro. So when you go micro, it becomes easier. It's narrow in the scope and it becomes easier for the teacher to work. So I think this is something which might improve the teaching life of a teacher, make it less hectic, and improve the teaching environment. That's what I feel. Hope it answers.
Sure, ma'am. So I think CBSE has already taken so many initiatives to ease the life of teachers and their teaching experiences in this online learning environment. Thank you, ma'am. Next question that we have is, the most talented and hardworking teachers with best of pedagogical practices are facing a harrowing experience with their voice not being heard, their views being sadly ignored. Hope cognizance is taken to ground reality. So this is the question by again one of our attendees.
Can I answer that? Can I answer?
Yes, yes, please, ma'am, go ahead.
So you mean that when the teachers are delivering the content, the voice is not audible? That is what you, that is what the question is?
Absolutely.
So that is what I want to say, that, let your teaching not be dependent on voice. Let it be non-verbal. Let it be expression. Let it be lot of gestures. Good. Well done. Okay. You can go on and on. Error correction. So many gestures, you can use. You don't have to depend on voice and gadget. Your teaching is never, restricted due to lack of resources. If it is happening, then there's something wrong in your approach. So resources का कमी तो हमेशा रहता है. आज digital का है, कल किसी और का होगा, परसों किसी और का होगा. So what you have to do is you let the spirit go on and let us find alternative ways, to make the lessons more interesting. So आप बच्चे के case में you can use the symbols that are there in the chat if you do not have, the appropriate sound system, and visuals and teaching aids. If the visual is available, it does half of your job. So I think visual, props, charts, cue cards, flashcards, the cartoon books that we have these days, the comic strips, these are the things, you can use in your class without speaking.
Thank you, ma'am. That was really insightful on this subject. And since this was the last question for the day, I would like to proceed for the vote of thanks. I, on behalf of Careerville and ASSOCHAM National Council on Education and the entire team, let me call it fraternity of education here together, and on my own behalf, extend a very hearty note of thanks to all speakers for gracing your important work and sharing with us your findings and opinions today. I must mention a deep sense of appreciation for Dr. Biswajit Sahaji for his explanation of democratizing education. Further, we're grateful to Dr. Niyati Chitkara for demonstrating her views in the gamut of social education post-COVID-19, personalized, hybrid, and collaborative. I also express a sincere thanks to Dr. Shauli Mukherjee for giving an excellent coverage on the theme today. I also wish to express my gratitude to Dr. Ranjan Gautam for providing encouragement and ending on a positive note. I'm also very grateful to Rakesh sir and Satendra sir for always encouraging us and providing with valuable insights on the topic. I also like to acknowledge my gratitude to Mr. Neeraj, Mr. Deepak, and Mr. Harish for supporting this initiative and organizing this amazing series for paving the way and realizing need to reimagine the education post-COVID-19. We're all inspired by all our panelists' great work. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much for having
Thank you
us.
so much for the wonderful speech, Nupur, and thank you, Niti ma'am, and Rajan sir for your presence and knowledge here. Tiwari ji, thank you so much for the insightful, thought. आप कह लीजिए कि आपने हमें जो ये ground reality जो दिखाई है, this is the real fact of life. Thank you so much, Tiwari ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, ma'am.
Have a nice day, everybody.
You too. Bye. Take care. Bye.